Look at these two guys.
What's that, Cor?
Fifth and sixth generation cranberry farmers.
You're drinking cranberry juice?
That's not weird.
Are you drinking... That is weird as hell. Are you drinking cranberry juice?
Not straight cranberry juice. It's cran tropical, so it's cranberry. Because I don't really fuck with cranberry. Like Thanksgiving, don't bring me out just those slices of like the... We were just talking about your sweater. It's actually like that color. You know what I'm talking about? It comes
I do
out
know.
of the can, and it's just like slimy, livery looking, like
livery
circular.
is a good description. Yeah.
Like Thanksgiving, like get rid of that. No one fucks with that.
I'm not on the get rid of it page, but I see why it's down on the bottom of the list.
It's not like some homemade shit, so it's not like you could be like, my mom's got this special like cranberry recipe.
But if you have some of that whack dry ass turkey, you almost need that to just give it some like sweet pop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I guess I don't like parlay it out. So I look at it individually when that's more of like you need to eat that right after you eat some dry shit. Like that's a supplemental.
You got to balance it. That's right.
Something else.
Yeah. You're saying on its own, it's buns.
On its own, it's way buns. Like if it's like, what do we like on a regular Thursday night? It's like, what do we have for dinner? And someone's like, oh, I'm like slices of cranberry.
It's just sauce. It's a sauce usually. Nobody eats it alone, but still, it is pretty disgusting.
Cranberry, mango, guava, orange flavor. I just read all of those and I was like, plus the picture.
Yeah. Well, first of all, let me say this. Not only do I not know what guava is,
I don't know what it is.
Nobody knows what that is. Like you could talk to a company that makes it, and they're like, we don't even know what it is, but we make it. You know what I mean? Like
100%.
Somebody's a farmer growing guava, and they're like, I don't know what this shit is. I've never had this. I don't even know what you're talking about. So let's get that out of the way. That nobody knows what that is. But the rest of the stuff you mentioned, like the orange saves it, but like the mango, I'm not too hot on mango.
Oh. Bugging.
No,
mango
not too
is
hot
like
on mango,
pineapple.
man.
You put mango on anything?
Not too hot on mango. Not too hot on like passion fruit. You ever had passion fruit?
Passion fruit's like borderline for me. If it says passion fruit on there, I'm like, it could go either way. But mango, that's one of those flavors that it's like, I could fuck with mango.
Mango's your shit. Okay, but what I was gonna say is, if it was just cranberry juice, I probably would have clowned on you, because like. You would have to be 74 years old to just be drinking cranberry juice. I
would hope you would, because I would never just buy like some cranberry juice.
But that saved it. That it was like it was like a tropical mix. You know what I mean?
If it didn't have this picture on there,
oh, then yeah, you're not.
It's a wrap. Like I would have never even thought about. But like
the picture,
they put all these things in like the ocean, and there's some like trees behind it.
Colorful.
It's colorful.
Like
colorful
colors.
It's just floating. Like it looks very like it just looks beautiful, and I'm like, even the Ocean Spray like logo with like the wave coming over just takes me to like it's cold outside. That's gonna warm my body.
So let me ask you though, you bought that yourself, or is that your mother-in-law bought that?
No, I bought this. I was in Dollar General.
Bought that.
And Dollar General is like the OG. Like we'll like we've got every mad like unhealthy shit in here. Like they'll have some Oreo flavor that you've never seen before, that like only Dollar General has like permission to sell.
Oh my god!
It's like some like marshmallow sugar fluffy flavor, and you're just like, damn, I've never seen that before. And the lady behind the counter is like, yep, we got it. That's what they got with Ocean Spray.
Yeah, if you had asked me before and I had to bet on it, I would have said you didn't buy that. That was your mother-in-law that bought it, and then you saw it in the fridge, and you were like, "Oh, I'm gonna have this."
Yeah, I was intrigued by it because there used to be, and I think they still have it, but it was way popular back in, I want to say, like 2000s, but it was called Twister, and it was a drink.
I gotta look up a picture of this. I feel like I remember it, but I don't at the same time.
Some fruity ass shit, like fruity ass drink shit, but it was almost like a Jolly Rancher, and they had like flavors like, just strawberry and whatever. But I think it used to be real popular, and then it fell off. But like the dollar store still sells it.
I remember this. Oh, the dollar store still sells it. Yeah. Which color do you like?
I think there's just like a strawberry-ish flavor.
There's a strawberry one, and then there's like a yellowy orangey type flavor. But
There's
then
also,
I'm gonna hit you. There's a blue shit. The blue shit looks banging.
the blue one I was a little like thrown off by because the same thing with Mountain Dew. Once they came out with the blue one, because the regular Mountain Dew I know is OD unhealthy.
Yeah, but
And when they came out with the red shit, I was like, Code Red is you're kind of bugging. Like that's some like you're pushing it a little bit, Mountain Dew, because your first shit is already like pushing it. Then they came out with a blue shit. And I was like, nah, Mountain Dew, now you're straight bugging.
See, you're not, you don't go as far as I do then, because I'm such a sucker for colors that like every time one of those came out, I was like, I'm getting it right now.
But a blue drink to me is like, that's some next level shit. Like red's fine.
I fuck with it. I fuck with blue drinks so hard that when I see like Windex sitting on the counter, I'll peek at it and be like, I sort of want to chug that right now.
Windex does look kind of sexy on the shelf. Like Windex is the OG of cleaning supplies. Like Mr. Clean tries to do his thing, but Windex has just been there since '88, and it's just like obviously you like will clean your glass, but if you don't have anything else, you could spray this shit on the counter too. And it's like
so true.
It just does all of that shit.
And let's just say this because this is true. Mr. Clean is a little suspect. Like the actual Mr. Clean, he did something wrong. He's got somebody chained in his basement. Like he's not totally clean. He's got a record. Mr. Clean has a record.
Yeah, no bald ass. Like he's got to be. Mr. Clean has to be like 55 to 60, like 55 over.
I'll go 55 on the dot. I see 55, but he's jacked. Isn't he jacked for some reason? Right?
He's in good shape. He's in good shape.
Like, is he like a bouncer at a club or something? He's got to be like a bouncer.
He's got some skeletons. There's something like he actually. It's surprisingly like no one's really looked into his background a little bit. Like, how the fuck did he become the spokesperson for some cleaning supply? Because first off, I wouldn't want some 55-year-old bald dude like cleaning my shit. Like
super weird. You're like, why? Why'd you pick this guy?
Is he retired? Like, because if he's retired, he's not cleaning, and he just looks too clean to be cleaning some shit. Like,
now, you know what? He may have made the actual cleaning fluid because he killed somebody and wanted to clean the shit. And so then he made it, and he's like, you know what? I got to market this because this worked really well. Nobody's even going to know I killed somebody because I got my Mr. Clean fluid.
That's a really good point.
I know.
Low key, like...
We're going to get sued by Mr. Clean.
Yeah.
Imagine the company sues us.
Well, like, low key, no one's looked into, like no one's looked into his background, and it's just shady because I've never seen a dude like him be that into cleaning, you know? The only dude I've seen is the guy, Mr. Scrub Daddy, who was on Shark Tank. Like he made the Scrub Daddy. I never
heard of that. No, I never heard of that.
Oh, you haven't? It's like a smiley face, like scrub shit.
Okay.
And it was on Shark Tank, and like he looks like a like he's not athletic. He's like got a full head of hair. He's got like khaki pants with the belt up to his stomach, like with his shirt tucked in. Like he looks like he spent his whole life figuring out some banging ass cleaning supply. Mr. Clean looks like he's been around the block, you know, out to the clubs looking for chicks. Like the last thing he's doing is putting some concoction together to clean.
Is he based on some real person? Because we don't even know if he's based on some real person. Because if you were making it, if you were part of a company that had to come up with a mascot for a cleaning liquid,
that would be the last motherfucker.
Yeah, why would you pick that dude? I mean, I do fuck with the fact he's a little bit like a pirate. Like, he looks like a pirate a little bit. Like, I'll give you that. He's got, like, the earring and shit. I fuck with that. But everything else is kind of sketchy. Why are you jacked? Why are you older?
Why do you only just wear... Like, I kind of fuck with him on this because I did this throughout high school, too. All he ever rocks is just a white T-shirt,
yeah,
which is kind of gangsta.
That, too. I do fuck with that, too.
You know?
I do fuck with that, too.
It's like he's never, like, on one like, special edition, you know, cleaning supply shit. He's like, I'm gonna throw a suit on for this occasion, you know, like the limited edition clean under your sink, you know, plumber style shit. He throws like a nice little button up on. He's like, I'm throwing a white tee on for any occasion, which is gangster. You got to respect that shit.
That is gangster. And hopefully now the Mr. Clean company doesn't want to sue us because we're giving them a little bit of props along with acting like maybe their guy's a pedo or some shit. You know? Like, he does have that vibe a little bit. Like, he may have been on Epstein Island. Mr. Clean may have been on Epstein Island. Him and Bill Clinton were hanging out. You know? I'm just saying. Like, he's got that look to him.
You know who I feel bad for?
Who?
Is real life dudes who look like Mr. Clean. Just any bald dude who puts on a white shirt definitely goes out and it's like, oh, it's Mr. Clean.
But I'm going to say something controversial now, though. They think they're freaking it. Mr. Clean's got a look to him where he thinks he's freaking it.
I think he's got an earring, too.
He's got an earring. He definitely has an earring.
Kind of bugging on that shit.
I like the earring, but he thinks he's freaking. He thinks he's still like 25 and can go out to the clubs and shit. You know what I mean? Like, he has that vibe to him. What? Okay, this is a good conversation to have, though, because I was thinking about this the other day.
No, it's not a good conversation.
No. The next thing I'm about to say. What?
How had a conversation about Mr. Clean and said it's a good conversation.
How old? You're like, that is not a good conversation. How old were we when we took out our earrings? I think you did it a little bit before me.
Yeah, I think it was when I started like getting into like the job field, because I've told the story before. I interviewed for a sales job with the Nets, and I crushed that shit back when they were in New Jersey. Left, or I was leaving or something like that, and the guy was like, "Yeah, like they want to offer you the position, but you got to take your earrings out." And that's when I was like, "Ah, fuck, yeah, like I'm getting into the job world." But nowadays, people have tattoos, earrings. Like, it's not even like people have to think about that anymore. But
we had a conversation and we did mention the age thing. You and I both mentioned the age thing.
Yeah.
That, like, we're in terms of our age, there isn't a line where it's like when you're below that line, it's like, that's what's up that you have earrings. Like, that's cool. Once you get above that line, it's like, you're trying a little too hard. You know what I mean?
Weird, because I've seen, so I'm 32. I would say maybe I had them up until 25, 26. And I don't know. Am I making up that number?
I think it was a little earlier. I feel like you took them out like 23, 24.
Okay.
That's what I think.
I still think that there's like an in-between period from whenever I took it out, maybe like 23, 24 to like 45. But if I saw like a 45 to like 55-year-old dude had an earring in, I would sort of be like, that's okay. That's okay.
See, now this is why I wanted to have this conversation, because I feel like there are all types of rules that are kind of like contradictory, but let me explain. Yeah. So, first of all, if you had earrings or an earring and you never took that shit out, like the whole time you were fucking with it from when you were a kid until when you're an adult, I'm very likely to give you a pass on that. Now, it depends. It depends on like a couple other things. Like, there has to be some like fashion approach that matches the fact that you wear earrings. Like, it can't be totally out of whack, you know what I mean? But by and large, if you're that committed to the shit, I might just give you a full pass on that alone, okay? Now, and there's also, got to keep it real on this, man. Black dudes could pull it off better than white dudes. Like, yes, there are some white dudes who could rock the earrings and pull it off forever, but like, more so black dudes could pull it off and look better, and white dudes it's just white dudes, it's like you're trying a little bit too hard. Yeah. But in terms of like the normal, like for you and me, at what age would it have gotten a little bit sad? I'm gonna be lenient. I'm gonna say until 30. Like, we could have rocked it until 29. That's what I think. And then once 30 hits, once you got that 3 in front, it's like, okay, now you got to sort of stop fucking around. And you should take it out. I'm going to push back and just say, I would appreciate it more if someone who had it since jump, like very, very young, got it up until their 20s and then was like, now I'm going to try a little bit of phase without the earrings and explore that. I would give them the pass to if they brought them back when they were like, 40, 45 or something like that. Okay, so you're saying a gap in the middle, but how long does the gap have to be? Like, you're not allowed for your 30s to put them back in? Yeah, 30s is a weird, like 30s, I don't want the earrings in there at 30s. Cause 30 you should have enough. 30 is a little exploratory where like you should have enough swagger to try shit without the earrings. And then 40's like, I figured it out. I'm gonna put my earrings back in. Right. So you're saying a little professional, like young professional gap where you got to be on your professional shit a little bit. Yes. And then once you're 40, you're developed enough in the professional shit where it's like I could put the earrings back in.
Yeah, like let me see how you act without the earrings, basically.
Right.
Because like the earrings could be that like protection of like I'm a badass, you know, with the earrings, and it's just like I've had them since I'm a kid. But when you're a kid, you're not really thinking about like anything in the world. So it's like, show me what you got in your 30s without the earrings. If you prove me right there, then you're justified to like put them back in your 40s.
So here's the next question. Is there a difference studs versus hoops? And is there a difference 2 versus 1? Because I do feel like all that like complicates it a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I started off with 1 when I was younger, and I think it was the left ear. And then did 2.
And you stopped there. You stopped at 2.
Yeah.
I didn't. I went beyond 2.
What else did you have?
You don't remember this?
Oh, you had up here or something?
I had a bunch. So let me explain. So first of all,
I started with. You had a bunch like that.
I started with 1 like you on my left ear, and then I got my right one pierced from our friend. I'll say his name, Tommy L.
Oh, I didn't even know. What did he do?
In class, he pierced my shit. Damn. In class. I had like one of the piercing earrings, and I was like, yo, could you just like poke it through? He was like, yeah.
What do you mean piercing earrings?
The piercing earrings, usually they're a little bit longer, like the thing that goes through the ears a little bit longer and a little thicker. And he just, without anything? In class. I was like, listen, I want my right one done. It's an easy thing to do. Like, could you do it? He was like, yeah, I could try. And he went like that. It worked. And he hit the right spot and everything. It was perfect. He did it right. It was kind of crazy. But anyway, so that was my second one. And then after a while, I actually did, and I got this from Vinny because I liked the way that it looked on him. He did the 2 on the left, 2 on the right, on the lobe. 2 left, 2 right.
Oh, damn.
And then I OD'd and I did cartilage too. So there was a time when I had 5 total. But then I never did. Yeah, but I never did 5. I never usually did 5 like kept 5 in. We usually, when I put the cartilage one in, I like dropped another one, like one on the right ear, the second one on my right ear. Like I switched. Yeah. I didn't have 5 at once almost at all. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
I had a whole bunch.
Because even when I had like 1 and 1, I don't really remember it too much. But when I would sleep on the pillow, I feel like it would hit a little bit. And if to have 2 down there, that's like your whole earlobe.
Yeah,
like there has to be just like. I don't know if we had headphones back there, but it was the shits that like used to be with the CD player, and it would be like the big joints, and you would put it over your head. And I feel like sometimes it would get caught on there and shit like that.
It wasn't
like
comfortable
at some point. No,
in fact, there was a time when I had gotten like, you know, those little backs of the studs, like the things that you put in the back of the stud to keep it in place. There was like a few times where that shit went into my ear.
Same, mine, yeah.
Yours too?
Yep.
And that shit was stuck in my
over
ear.
It or some shit. Yeah.
That's right. And then I had to like literally like pop it out at one point. It was disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're right. Like the thing is, and that's one of the reasons why I went to hoops for a little bit, is because hoops are so much easier to sleep with. Yeah. The studs are a pain in the ass because of the thing in the back. But anyway, so I like. What's your take on age hoop versus stud? Do you think like a little hoop is more acceptable as you get older, or what do you think?
I don't know, man, because it's like the top of a hoop to me is Michael Jordan, and like he's always to me had that shit in his ear, and now he's old as hell. I was never like a hoop person.
Yeah, you never were. You always had studs. You never had hoops ever.
Yeah. So I don't know, like it depends, man. It depends on how you look. Like if you could pull off hoops, like you could just pull it off, you know? Like I still remember like Barry Bonds used to play baseball with like a cross in his ear, and that shit was just so gangster. Like and it fit him.
It fit him.
Like
that's
if another Catholic person or Christian, whatever the fuck it is, like try to put a cross in their ear, I would just be like, chill. Like there's something hanging down from your ear. Yeah. But Barry Bonds used to just be at the plate, and that shit would just be chilling, and I'll be like, damn, man, that guy's so awesome.
He looked like, so cool. He did.
I wasn't even religious. Like I didn't even know what the cross was from his ear when I was young watching him, but it just looked so awesome.
It just looked cool.
He pulled it off. Like,
yep.
There's some people that whatever they do, they just pull it off. You know, like fedora hats or the Kangol hats or whatever. Like some funky ass clothes shit. Like some people could just pull off anything. You know?
Yeah,
like, I could put the same exact shit on. I think I've had like friends that have some pair of jeans shit that like they're wearing, and I'm like, damn, that shit just looks dope as fuck. Like He's killing it. And I'm like, yo, can I like that? Can I wear them tomorrow? And I put them on, and I just look like
I don't like it.
A fucking loser.
Like, see, that's funny because I feel like I'm a little
no,
more.
You pull it off because like even in California, like I have my J's and shit like that, and you're like, yo, can I just wear these?
It wasn't even just the J's. It was the soccer pants that you like.
The pants you wore the J's too.
Yes, because you told me you're like, I don't know why you wear the sweatpants that you wear. Those are not like in style. The ones that you got to wear are the ones that are more tapered at the bottom of the leg. Yeah. And I was like, I don't know anything about fashion, but I'll take your word for it and I'll wear them. And I wore those pants and I was like, damn, not only do I like the way these look, they're even more comfortable.
Yeah.
You know? So you sold me on that. I remember as soon as we got back from California, I bought like 3 or 4 pairs of like the tapered leg, like soccer pants or whatever, you know?
There's you're one of those people like, cause I remember even with my Iversons, like you were like, oh, can I just wear those to play ball? And they just fit on you. Like they just fit.
Those were so nice. Those were my favorite, the Iversons.
Those Iverson like changed the game back in the day.
Yeah, you gave me them.
I was a little salty because those are some I like those Iversons. I think they were I don't remember what style, but they were the black and white joints.
You gave it. I didn't even ask. You just gave them to me. You had just gotten some new shit, and you were like, "You want those?" I was like, "Yeah." You were like,
"You also, I think, gave me like a whole set of clubs or some shit."
Oh yeah, I did get like, "Yo, do you probably still have those in your garage in their shell?" Yeah,
you were just straight like, "Yeah, take the whole set." I was like, "Huh?" Like, is that a thing?
Yeah, well, because my dad, you know, he was obsessed with golf, and so he had like three or four sets over the years that he had picked up. And like some of them were just sitting in the garage, and it was like, well, they either sit in the garage or somebody might use them a little bit, and so I gave them to you. You know,
I think the time you gave them to me, I was like trying to get into golf, or I think I might have been like trying to get to the range or something, and all I had in my garage was like Gary, my stepfather, had like this set, I think from like when he was a kid, and it was like the driver was some wood and shit, and like I think I even went out to the course with those. Yeah. So motherfuckers must have been clowning me like, oh. You're playing with those shits? Like that's not a joke?
Yeah, so but I didn't just do it with you. I did it with Henry too. Like I gave a bunch of people clubs because I had enough clubs.
Yeah, but I think I remember you told me like every 3 years or something, like someone who's really good at golf like re-ups their clubs every so often.
And it's not like my dad was that good necessarily, but he what he would do is he would always get the things that were like he would get the things that were already out of like 3 or 4 years old. You know what I mean? He never got like new. Mm-hmm. He would get things that were already 3 or 4 years old. So yeah, that set that I gave you at the time, it was probably already like 8 years old, but it's still, the ones that you were playing with were literally like 40 years old. You know what I mean? So the 8 years old seemed new. Because it is true that golf clubs have a long shelf life. Like you could, the drivers are the only ones, the drivers in the woods are the only ones that the technology really makes big jumps, but the irons are very similar,
Yeah, I mean, that happens. I think I was going skiing once or something, and I think I was like looking on eBay for skis, and I thought it was like some shit that looked in good condition, but they were probably outdated by a couple of years. But the person who was selling them probably is like an avid skier.
That's right.
Just selling their old shit, and to me, it's like I just need to get down the fucking mountain. I don't need like some next level like going off-roading type shits,
Yeah, it's interesting because we had a similar conversation when you had gotten back into golf a little bit because you had been going to the driving range and you got a lot better, by the way. We've talked about that too, but we had the conversation like, what's it better to do? You could get a set that's like a brand name, big name that's like 3 or 4 years old and get it for a decent price, and clubs would look brand new, all that, or you can get one of those starter sets. We decided on that for you. We went with the starter set for you because you got a nice discount on the starter set. But that is like an eternal debate. Like, which direction do you go? Do you go the brand name that's 3 or 4 years old, or the new starter set?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, for someone like me, just some recreational player, like I just need some shit to hit the ball forward. Like I don't need some crazy shit, but I don't know. What I have now works fine.
And what was like it was like $120 or something absurdly cheap.
It was like dirt cheap. And
that's
then like
for 14 golf clubs, or was it 14? No, it was like it was like 9 or 10 or something like that, right? Like I think there were some gaps in the bag, but still 10 clubs for $140.
Yeah,
I mean that's crazy.
I'm so reckless though because I think I was playing one time and I like forgot. I think you bring like 2 clubs to one shot sometimes, and I like I like left one of the gloves like 2 holes behind, and someone had to catch up. I was like,
oh, did you get it back though? You got it back?
They gave it back, but it's just like such a bad feeling of
every
like
golfer's had that experience where they forget a club on a hole or something,
or even just like in your house. Like I feel like to not lose something, like I'll put my wallet down. And I'm like, I'm putting it down in such an obvious spot. I'll never not remember that it's here.
Forget it.
And then like you in like the grand scheme of things, that's such a quick period of time you're putting that down that you do so much other shit that moment you're like, I'll never forget that I put this clearly just on the toilet bowl because I'm taking a shit. Like when you go to look for your wallet, you're like, I don't know where this is. And that's the worst feeling, man.
Do you have any idea? I forget shit all the time. I will walk into a room and forget why I walked in a room.
I do the same thing.
I will literally walk in a room like confident, everything, and then just be like, why the fuck did I walk in here? I have no idea why I walked in here. And I'll have to stand there and think about it. It won't come to me. And then I'll have to, like, sometimes it'll take like 5 minutes before I remember some shit like that. So I'm the biggest putz on my mom makes fun of me. I'm the biggest putz on the planet.
You know what scares me is that like, that happens to me a lot now. And I think like, what happens when I'm 80? If I make it to 80,
I've had this thought too, because my memory sucks. My memory's so bad. The other thing that I'm really terrible at is sense of direction. I have zero sense of direction.
Oh, see, I've got a good sense of direction.
You're good with that, yeah. Because whenever we go on trips, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing or where I'm going. It's like you have to navigate the shit like we're in the year 1600 and we're pirates on the ocean and I don't know where the fuck I'm going.
It's weird how every person has like their own little thing. Like some people will be good at math, but not good at whatever. I have a good sense of direction and I feel like I'm an idiot with everything else. Like, I don't know. There's the street I live on, and then there's like the main street right outside the road that I live on. That's called like some shit that I should clearly know what the name of that road is.
You don't know the name though.
I don't know the name. So
I don't know names either.
Oh, just meet me on blah, blah, blah. I'm like, where's that?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's the shit right outside of our house. But like, if you were to say like, get me back to New York from our house without any directions, I'll be Gucci. Explain it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's interesting. I'm good at neither of those things. Like I'm with you on the I don't know the names of the streets, but I'm also not with you on the you just know how to navigate it. You know what I mean? Like
I remember like I'm good at remembering like landmarks, like, oh, I saw this building, so I got to make a right at this building.
Yeah, you are definitely good at that. I remember you being good with that, where you picked up on shit. You're perceptive about stuff like that, where I'm just totally clueless about it.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's like
it's weird how that works.
I suck at math too. I feel like all of my brain power got wasted in some very specific narrow areas. You know what I mean? Like all of my brain power is just in being able to talk. That's it. Like that's the only thing I know how to do is talk.
I'm also good. That's a good thing to be able to do because
but it's funny though, because it's a mix. Like I just said, I have a terrible memory. I do and I don't. Like I have a terrible memory in a lot of ways, but I do remember random facts. Like so I could talk about politics and cite some economic numbers and shit. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's weird, but that's where all of my brain power was wasted on that. I don't have it anywhere else. Yeah. So I'm terrible at math. I'm terrible at science. I'm terrible. I have no sense of direction. I'm incredibly forgetful. Like I'm just a mess in other ways.
It's I don't know. I think it's just it's not even what you're interested in, because I'm not interested in directions, but maybe subconsciously
I'm not interested in talking. I just do it for my job, but it's not even like when me and you aren't talking here and when I'm not doing my show, I'm not talking. Like everybody sees all that I talk, except maybe, every now and then little 5-10 minute conversation with a family member or something. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but it's not the talking. It's the maybe like deep down. It's like you want to get the information you have out to people, and like
that's right. Yeah.
The talking is the outlet that gets.
That's a good point. Yeah,
it to people.
That's a great point. Yeah, I never
thought. I don't really like directions, but maybe deep down, I just want to get to the fuck where I'm going, and like by doing that, I need to know.
Yes.
Just get me to this building, and not some like. If I make a wrong turn, that's going to add an extra 5 minutes, and then I'm going to be tight. Like, if remembering how to get to where we're going helps cut down in any of the shit that I don't like, maybe that's why I like directions.
Yeah, and maybe that's why I like politics, is because I want to make sense of the world, and so that's how I try to make sense of it.
Yeah.
Like I see some shit, and I'm like, I don't like that shit. So now I got to tell people that I don't like that shit.
Are you kind of tight? Not tight, but so Molly is like getting into politics a little bit. She told me the account before. There's some Instagram account of like this like second grade teacher who like breaks down politics in just a very digestible way, like super, super easy. She broke down like the three branches of government and shit like that.
So she's learning about the procedure stuff. That's what she wants to know. Gotcha. Yeah.
Are you okay with everybody sort of, I mean, I guess yes for you, but like getting into politics and like trying to like figure this shit out now?
I mean, it's the more people that know about it, the better, for sure. But I don't think most people when they get interested in politics, they don't go back to the basics like she's doing, where she's getting the procedural stuff. You know, like she's getting the very like dot all the I's, cross all the T's, give me the mechanics of how it all works, you know?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Most people, when they get involved in politics, it's more about like they want to know something about the candidates, and then they'll vote based off of that. But they can't tell you how many Supreme Court justices there are.
They're going like high level before even getting just the core of like politics.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I describe it as high level. They're going surface level. That's what I'll say. They're going surface level, and Molly's going to the fundamentals. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, what she's doing is rare. There are not many people who do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and honestly, even in what I do, I don't think everybody's incredibly well versed on all the procedures, because there's a lot of them, and it would be difficult. It's like a full-time job to know all of it. You know what I mean? So, I mean, but I do think everybody in my field knows the basics at least. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like obviously 3 branches of government, like, you know,
except for Donald Trump.
Trump probably didn't know anything. You know?
None of that shit, right?
No, he didn't know any of that. But again, it's one of those things where you're going to have an advisor who's like right next to you, who's like, that's not how it works, sir.
Yeah.
You know?
That's why, like, I was listening to the beginning of the Crystal Kyle and Friends, and it was like, people were grilling Fauci, like, oh, are you just so happy that Trump's not there anymore? And sort of, you know, just asking him like high level questions of like how he feels, like how he can operate now without Trump there. And it's like, he's got to like feel like there's a weight lifted off his shoulder, because like there's some actual, like, he can actually talk about some legit shit without Trump just saying some stupid fucking shit that doesn't, like, there's no science behind it at all.
Yeah. So yes, he definitely feels more relaxed. He was sort of like hidden away.
Yeah.
Because he would say things that contradict Trump sometimes, and so he was trying to not contradict Trump, but also get information out there. So he definitely feels more liberated. But in terms of like the media and the stuff they were asking, oh, they were annoying me so much, because they as much as they hated Trump, they love Biden. Yeah. And so like they're sucking off this administration in a way that's so disgusting. CNN invited on 2 of Kamala Harris's sorority sisters just so that they could be like, oh my God, we love Kamala and this is such a great moment. And then there were so many examples. There was a clip that went viral on CNN of the guy talking about how this looks like there were some lights or something, you know, by the Washington Monument. And they were like, the lights look like Joe Biden's hands outstretched to hug America. Like they were saying some shit like that. It's just,
I heard them talking about the fireworks. Like the fireworks were dope as fuck that night, but like, okay, like cool. Like there was cool fireworks.
The first question they asked the press secretary, the new press secretary, was like, do you believe in truth? And she was like, yes, I believe in truth. And they were like, isn't it so refreshing to have an administration that believes in truth? So it's just, they're just so bad. Like they're so bad at their job. They're so shitty, you know? So they annoy me so much. They make me want to hate them. Like, yeah. I don't want to be part of their shitty team when I see how they operate, because it's just so gross.
That's what's frustrating too. Is like, like at least Molly is like finding some like alternative like source that like is like, I think she says it's like unbiased, and they'll like spew it like through not a filtered lens and shit like that. But like people who try to get into politics and they'll just go straight to like CNN or MSNBC and all that shit is like,
or Fox.
Yeah, or Fox. They're just like, you're fucked right from the beginning.
I know.
You know, and it's like,
well, they definitely don't know the basics either. Those people, like, I don't think John Lemon could tell you like some of the basics. By the way, I got a shitload of candy here.
What do you have?
I ordered these.
Damn, that's like the shit that like a high school kid or like a New York City kid walked up to you on the street and be like, "Hey, do you want to buy one of these for $1.
And I said I'll buy the whole shit.
You see, yeah, you would always buy those from people. But like the pack, probably how much did that whole thing cost? Costco probably
much.
like
It wasn't
like
much. I don't remember.
$8 or something, right?
Yeah, it was cheap. The other thing I got is Zero bars. Have you ever had one?
No, I never even heard of that.
Okay, well, shout out to Mike from the Humanist Report because I was talking to him and he told me to try a Zero bar. Pretty good. Pretty. I'll show you what they look like. Hold on.
Yeah, show me what they look like, because based off of packaging, I could tell you if it's gonna be banging or not. Fuck no, that's some fake ass Klondike bar shit.
Son, it's good. Here, I'll show you what the other thing looks like. If I could get one out. That's what it looks like.
Nah, hell no. When Zero Bar makes a sale, motherfuckers in the factory are like, they wake up out of their seat and they're like, oh shit, we got one.
I'm telling you, it's banging.
That shit has dust on it. Let me see that shit again. Listen, that shit looks like some toothpaste ass shit.
I'm giving it the Kalinsky guarantee. Well, Three Musketeers looks the same. That's what
Three Musketeers at least put a little bit of pop in their shit. Zero Bar, whatever the fuck that is, looks like they put zero effort into that motherfucker.
I'm giving everybody the Kyle Kalinsky guarantee. If you try a Zero Bar, you will enjoy it.
I don't know. What is it?
Oh, I forget. It's like, first of all, it's not chocolate. It's white chocolate on the outside. And then
I never even vaguely heard of that shit, and I'm a candy connoisseur.
Caramel, peanut and almond nougat covered with white fudge.
Fuck no.
No, it's good. It's good, and it's like a nougaty. It's like that's what.
Let me see what the like actual shit looks like, not the box. Yeah, no, that's some like when I was younger, there would be like local churches that would sell their own chocolate, and like McDonald's. Do you ever remember that? Like McDonald's would partner with some chocolate shit and they would sell it.
No,
you remember that or no?
Vaguely, yeah.
Like McDonald's would partner with some local church, and I don't remember who sold it, but like they would. I don't know who sold the shit, but I feel like I would remember like there would always be like some donation shit, and there'd be like Ronald McDonald House would be on it and be some white wrapper, and there would be the silver ends on it, and it was a chocolate with nuts on it. And it was just McDonald's probably making more money on top of the already fucking billions of money they made already. Speaking of McDonald's, fuck them, because like the McDonald's here that's close to my house, I guess it's owned by like an owner bought it, so it's not like McDonald's, a corporation. Mm-hmm. So on their bag they try to say like locally owned, where it's like fuck out of here, like you're a big corporation, McDonald's. You're not some like mom and pop shop.
How's the food?
It's regular McDonald's food, yeah. But it's owned by like it's franchised, so like anybody...
I know, but if it says locally owned, I wonder who they mean. Do they mean that like the town bought it?
No, they're probably trying to say like just some local dude bought it. But it's definitely some multi-billionaire, because to buy a McDonald's, you got to be mad rich.
So first of all, somebody owns every McDonald's. So it's not to say it's locally owned. You can say that about any McDonald's then, I guess. That's why I asked. Maybe local means like the town bought it.
No, I don't think so, because it was like on the bags.
Why would a town buy McDonald's? That wouldn't even make sense.
Yeah, no, the town definitely didn't buy it, but like it was definitely bought by like a multi-millionaire who's trying to capitalize on like, this is like, we're a small business and we're going to put this on the bag. So support us, but you're McDonald's.
Yeah, it's mad disingenuous. I wonder, it costs a lot of money to franchise a McDonald's. It costs millions.
OD. Crazy amount of money.
I guess
if I owned McDonald's, I'd never want to eat that shit.
What's that?
I would never eat McDonald's if I owned a McDonald's.
Why is that?
Because I'd probably be so tired of it, just working there and being around McDonald's every day, that I would never like.
You would have eaten so much that you don't want to eat it anymore.
Yeah.
That's different than never wanting to eat it. You know what I mean? Like, because that means you're going through a period of eating that shit like crazy. And then you're like, I got to stop.
Yeah, that's true.
For me, it's one of those things where I'll build back up that desire for it.
So you won't have it for a little bit, and then like after a while, you'll be like, I just need to get some McDonald's in my system.
Like I could OD on it, like you were saying. But then after I don't eat it for like a month, I'll be like, I go over some McDonald's.
Yeah, I mean, it's always there. It's just like that, like, it's always going to be there for you. So it's not like you're like, I can go, you're like, I gotta get it, tomorrow because McDonald's might not be here. Like that's how I sort of think with like Popeyes or something like that.
I did
I'm
that with
like, they
Twinkies when they said they were going out of business. I went and
stocked up
bought
on them
Twinkies,
shits. Yeah.
and I never even ate Twinkies before that often.
I used to house Twinkies. That was
Oh,
my
really?
shit. I
Really?
think Hostess. I think Hostess was I think they were like factory or they were started in like their factory used to be in Westchester where we were at
Oh, I didn't know that.
In Elmsford. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that at all.
Because there was I used to play Little League in Elmsford, and then we'd always drive down this road, and on the left would be this big ass factory, and I think it was the Hostess factory. It was either Hostess or Wonder Bread. It might be like the same company.
Interesting. Yeah,
Because
there's a lot
their
of companies.
colors are like the same.
Well, there's a lot of there's like a very few companies that have all the brands associated with them. You know what I mean? It's like 3 or 5 companies that all the shit comes from,
Yep. Yeah. I think that's how I'd be curious. I think Hostess. I think Lay's might even be under that umbrella too, like the Lay's
Possible.
Hostess Wonder Bread umbrella. I feel like I remember seeing their big ass delivery trucks, and like all those logos would be on there. Wonder Bread used to be the shit too. I used to really fuck with Wonder Bread.
Yeah, but isn't it like pure sugar? Says the guy who just ate 2 Three Musketeers.
Oh, Wonder Bread is pure sugar?
Yeah, I think it's like it's very
In bread?
yeah, it's not like bread. It's very non-bread bread,
Probably. I think Wonder Bread used to be banging.
Wonder Bread was good, but potato bread is still my favorite.
Potato bread's good.
It's just so fluffy. It's just so big and fluffy.
I used to house Twinkies used to be my shit.
That's interesting because they never were my shit. But then the second that they were like, oh, they're going out of business, and we weren't sure if somebody else was going to buy the rights to them, I was like, I'm going to go buy a bunch of Twinkies. And
Whoever wouldn't buy the rights to Twinkies would just be like an idiot. That's like,
yeah, like somebody's got to do it, right?
That's what I'm saying. That's why it's like some of these big corporations, like they're never going to fail. Like if.
Yeah. Although they stopped making a cupcake that I loved, man. There was a cupcake when I was a kid, Freihofer's cupcakes. They made them. They sold them in a 6-pack, and like there were 3 vanilla and 3 chocolate. And I remember, oh god, they were so good. But like my favorite part of it was the like the yellow cake part of it. So I would eat the icing first, just get the icing out of the way almost, and then I would eat the yellow cake, and it was just like it was the best ever. I can still remember what it tasted like, and they stopped selling them, and they haven't for a hot minute. And that was one of those things that I thought they'd never go away because I had them all the time.
Yeah.
So I took them for granted, just like the WWE bars, which they're supposed to be back out with them now, by the way.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, if something's so popular, it'll always at least have a second chance.
Yeah, but I don't think, like we were talking about, I don't think it's the same formula. Like, it's definitely not the exact same taste, which is a problem because that's what people want. They want that exact same taste.
Same shit. And put the same old wrestlers on it too. And I was texting you about wrestling yesterday because Goldberg was back.
Yeah, you said he still looks like he
just looks like he
ageless.
Like they took him from like 1998 and just popped him back in there. He's got the same like sun tattoo on his arm, same armband shit.
In mad good shape.
Mad good shape. And then I asked my boy who's really into wrestling, I was like, yo, Goldberg's like still in this shit. And he was like, yeah, fuck him. I was like, fuck Goldberg? Like Goldberg's Goldberg. He was like, nah, man, if you ever read the comments on like a Goldberg post on their Instagram, everybody shits on him because he knows he's Goldberg. So every time he comes back, he'll just get thrown into a championship fight and win the shit against like some new upcomer who's like been busting his ass. And people hate that shit.
And also, his matches are short as fuck. He does he's supposed to be dominant, and so all of his matches are like 2 minutes or less, and all he does is like 2 moves to them. He like suplexes them and then spears them and then pins them.
His spear used to be gangster. Like he would just go.
But that's the problem though, because real wrestling fans, they're like they want to see a good match. Like there's an artistry to the matches, and to have somebody like you said, he jumps in front of the line when he comes back. He goes right to like championship fights, and his matches are like 2 minutes, so everybody's like, fuck you.
Yeah, it's a little fucked up, but then also it's like I don't know, some of the other wrestlers they have now that I've seen are just some corny ass like replica of a gangster ass dude in the bass. Like I think Rey Mysterio, like they're trying to have some new Rey Mysterio, like it might even be like Rey Mysterio's like son is the character.
Well, Lucha Libre is like a whole type of wrestler. Like it wasn't just Rey Mysterio who looked like that. Like there's a bunch of the Mexican wrestlers who look like that, who wear like similar shit and whatnot.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of wrestlers actually like secular talk, believe it or not. Like there's some
there's one from one of the guys from DX is really about it, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. He's my boy. Sean. He's X-Pac. I know him as X-Pac. 123 Kid, X-Pac. Yeah, he loves secular talk. We've actually talked before a few times.
That's crazy.
Really cool. The other one who likes secular talk is Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn's
I remember Sami Zayn.
Yeah, you don't know him because he's current. He's more current.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he's been around for, I don't know how many years, maybe 8 years, something like that. But he, he's current and he's a big secular talk listener. WWE, yeah, he was. I don't know if he still is. I think he still is. But yeah, he's a big Bernie Sanders supporter too. Really cool.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Speaking of Bernie, man, I had to.
The meme. I'm like, what do you think of it? What are your thoughts?
I think, like, tonight's the last night for the shit. Like, because I think it's played out. There's still unless you hit me with some next level shit that I'm like, damn, I wouldn't even. But if you're just putting the regular sitting thing in a photo, it's done. Like, end it, chop it off. Because one, people are doing it now and not even like they're sort of disrespecting Bernie with it. Like they're not doing it because they fuck with Bernie. And that gets me tight because, like seeing or just like putting it into perspective. I saw one tweet that sort of broke it down really good. Was like, Lady Gaga is over here wearing this fucking like Hunger Games ass, gold ass fucking dress that's like ridiculous. Michelle Obama and Barack Obama are wearing these fucking outfits that are probably thousands of dollars. Everyone, J-Lo's wearing some white ass shit that's like, if you fucking spilled something on it, it's a wrap. This shit is like multi-$1,000 outfit. And then like there was a designer on Good Morning America who was the one who dressed Michelle Obama. Like, that's not why you're in your fucking position. Like, I don't want to see that you have all that money. I want to see you fucking come on stage with some fucking regular ass suit on and some regular ass dress, like on some AOC shit. I love that she always comes out afterwards and she's like, that outfit they're shitting me on for, I got that from a thrift shop. That's a secondhand shit. I got to return it next week. Like, I don't want to see you with a gold fucking bezeled belt on and shit. Like, man, I got so much fucking respect for Bernie Sanders because, like, those gloves were from 5 years ago. Dog, like, I don't have shit from 5 years ago. He fucks with those gloves. A second grade teacher, they even interviewed her, and she's like, I'm not selling these bitches to anybody. He's just like, I'm from Vermont. I'm trying to be fucking warm. This shit's outside. Unnecessary. Like, damn, man. And, like, I don't like that people are using that shit, sort of clowning him, when he's just such an OG, Like, we should be clowning the fucking Lady Gagas of the world who get up there and look like big bozos.
That's such a great point. Yeah, because there's a lot of people who were actively shitting on Bernie during the primary who now are giving him credit.
Yeah.
And, like, playing around with the meme as if they were always down with Bernie. And it's like, we saw you. Like Alyssa Milano. How many times did she smear Bernie? Is he takes NRA money, all types of bullshit. And then now she's like tweeting the memes, and it's like, oh my God, the only reason you're doing this is because he's no longer a threat. He's no longer going to be president. So now all of a sudden, he's cute little Bernie. But I like your point because I didn't even think of that part of it. It's like, yeah, here's this guy, regular ass dude, probably wearing a coat from Burlington Coat Factory from 1998. He's got those mittens on. He's sitting there. He's got dad energy all day long because, like, he's just sort of minding his business at the event and sitting by himself, which I fuck with. I fuck with that hard.
OD.
And then you have everybody else who's like caught up in the cult of celebrity and trying to be cool and wearing these super expensive clothes. And it's just, you're right. Like, the whole reason why you're supposed to be there is like, I'm serious about trying to fix the country. Like, I care about fixing the country, and we went in the wrong direction, and so let's get to work. But no, the reason why a lot of those people are there is because, this is how it was described. I forget, there was a famous old saying that politics is Hollywood for ugly people. Like that's sort of what it is, right? Like they're these people who want to be famous and want to be known and want to get the self-aggrandizement and want to get people heaping praise on them. But what do? They do all the bullshit. Like they'll wear the expensive shit. They'll try to get to the expensive parties. They'll act all fake around each other and whatnot. And it's like, that's why we all hate you. And that's why we love him, you know, because we relate to his vibe. I tweeted when there was a picture, a tweet that showed like 4 pictures of him just sort of like wandering around by himself and sitting by himself. And I'm like, that's me at every social event, every family event, every social event. That's me, dog. I'm sitting there like watching TV while people are talking elsewhere. And so he's got that vibe that I love. It just, it hurt, man. It hurt to see like we could have had him as president, bro.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and one of the best tweets I saw was like, or memes was like motherfuckers want to put Bernie everywhere but the White House. You know, like, so like, but like, even the fact that like whatever he was holding in that fucking folder, like his office is probably still in that building. Like he definitely was like, I got to do some shit today. You know, I'm not like, this isn't my whole day type of shit. Like, congratulations to Joe. I'm here, but I got to sign some papers or read some shit. Like, I'm not knocking Obama so hard, but I will say like, there's one thing that sort of just irks me a little bit. And like, I'm nobody to say anything, but like, if you pulled up some video of when he first started campaigning and just being like OG Obama, like back in the day, the way he walks now is almost like some like I'm the coolest cat in this building, and it's like I gotta like, you know, like strut my shit a little. It's like, yo, pull that back a little bit. Like LeBron and all those people will still fuck with you if you don't have that same like gangster ass shit. Like still just be the same cat you were, which was just some like probably smart ass fucking dude from Chicago that was just grinding and got to where he got. Like he's got like this little like it's too old,
too arrogant, too cocky.
Yeah, like
saying he's too
cocky shit. That's like, I know I'm the most favorable president out of all these motherfuckers on the stage type of shit. Like I know I'm the most gangster dude here. Like I cool it a little bit on that shit is the only thing I'll say.
I'll go even further because when he was in the news after he got out of office, the first time he was in the news, it was because he was doing a Wall Street speech and taking $400,000 from some financial institution. And these are the same people he bailed out with no strings attached, which he shouldn't have done, right? Mm-hmm. So that was the first time he was in the news. Then there were stories about him like parasailing with some creepy billionaire named Richard Branson on his private island or something.
America guy, whatever.
Yeah. So like I'm looking at that and I'm like, oh, you know, because that's not if you really are about that public service life, when you get out, you do some Jimmy Carter shit. What did Jimmy Carter do? He immediately was like, you know, Habitat for Humanity, like building homes for people and trying to, he worked on eliminating parasites that's in the water in like Africa and third world countries and and other third world countries. Well, Africa's a continent, obviously, but third world countries. So like that's what he was doing. He's a public servant, and it's almost like you make a point to never get paid from the people that you were supposed to be regulating and keeping in line and stuff. And like he went right to the normal shit. And so you're right. He just views himself as like, I was a successful president. I had a high approval rating. I could do whatever the fuck I want. And he's got that vibe of like unearned arrogance where it's like, you really don't see the downsides of some of the shit you did, whether it's the drone war, they killed a lot of, a lot of civilians, or the bailing out of Wall Street and not prosecuting the Bush administration. So it's like, come on, man, you got to be more humble. Like I wouldn't be able to sleep at night with some of those decisions if I was him, you know.
That's what I'm saying. And call a spade a spade. Like, don't have George Bush, like, and Mike Pence walk out there and like they get applauded and like shit. It's like, it's great that he's there. Like, we're not 2-year-olds. We're like, this is some official shit. Like, motherfuckers get booed at a sporting event. Like, boo the fuck out of Mike Pence when he walks out if he's got the balls to show up at that shit. Like, boo that fucking guy.
What a low bar. Like, oh, they showed up at the inauguration. Okay.
Right?
Does that erase all the fucked up shit that they did over the last 4 years? No. You know?
And like, everything gets erased from George Bush. Like, he's celebrated now.
He's celebrated now, and he's a fucking war criminal and a torturer, and they're celebrating him.
It's, yeah, man. I like... It was tough to watch the inauguration. Like, obviously I did, but like, knowing how it almost was just like is microcosm the right word?
Mm-hmm. That's the right word.
Of what we are as a country. Like, we're fake as fuck. Like,
so fake. Yeah.
The whole city of Washington
lockdown
is just locked the fuck down. Like, blocks on blocks on blocks. You can't get anywhere close to the event. But like, we're singing songs like shit's all fucking glorious and
talking
like
about freedom, talking about freedom and like shit. We're at each other's throats. There's no unity and there's no freedom because the fucking National Guard is everywhere.
Like, to me, that's just like, it's like, I think you said it or whatever, but it was just like, that could have been done in a fucking room with the people that needed to be there, and just like, yeah, like, yes, I get history's history and that's how it's been done, the fucking inauguration with the parade and all this shit, but like, everything else has been different this year. So like, we could give you a pass if you just did that shit in, the Oval Office or whatever room you wanted to get that done in. But like, that was the shit that was frustrating to me the most, was just like, we're pretending that shit is just good. But
yeah,
like, on the surface, this whole city is fucking ghost town, and like, you had to have credentials on credentials and security on security to get in this shit. But meanwhile, everybody's smiling and acting like shit's fucking glory.
Yeah, I didn't like his inauguration speech because it was one of those speeches that he could have delivered the speech in 1985 or 1994 or now. And it's like, because it was all just it's the shit the Democrats do, where it's just like, we believe in the good things. We're not like the other guys because we believe in unity and we believe in freedom and we believe in liberty and we need to come together and we're the United States of America. It's not red states and blue states, it's the United States. And like, that's all that shit is just, you're not saying anything. You're just like saying flowery platitude bullshit. And like, but they really think they're nailing it when they say shit like that. And like you said, it's never been more clear how fake it is because, yeah, all of Washington, D.C. is locked down. You got national security everywhere. You got police officers everywhere. It's literally the opposite of freedom. It's total police state. And then obviously we're not unified because look at all the people who voted for Trump and how crazy Trump is and how Trump was acting. And we've never seen a situation. They stormed the Capitol and it was an attempted insurrection. Like, don't talk about it. It's obvious that we're not unified. You want to try to unify us? Okay, but don't give a speech where, this is like one of the themes of this shit, because it's just not true.
It gets me so tight. And then even like Nancy Pelosi, like, and I know they usually have like some luncheon after, which I just learned about, like, where they have some food or whatever, like, from whatever respective state you're from. But like, she's making jokes with Kamala Harris of like, we would have had some California wine, obviously, if we did. Like, it's like, bitch. Like,
people can't pay the bills.
People can't pay the bills, and they're watching this shit and seeing her like smile, and like, people are joking about shit. Like, yo, I just want to see you just real. Like, Joe should have, like, exactly what Bernie did. He just pulled up in the shit he was wearing, and that's what I want to see. Is like, I'm just ready to work. I'm not here for all this extra bullshit.
Yeah, man. It's just it's ugly for sure. Did you see? So today, and we're recording this, by the way, guys, on Saturday, just so everybody understands. I got a little bit of a busy schedule, so it's tough to do it on the day that we normally
Sunday,
do.
Monday, probably. I bet you, like, some motherfucker's gonna die or something's gonna happen on Tuesday, and that they're gonna be like, "You didn't talk about
this." Yeah. Today you saw it's Hank Aaron.
Yeah, that one was tough, man.
And Larry King.
Yeah, Larry King, sort of fuck him, but like Hank Aaron's the OG, and like, I met Hank Aaron a couple of times. He came. I saw your tweet. Store.
You met him a few times. Was it at the ice cream store?
Yeah, he came to the Scarsdale one. He went to Armonk, and then he was in New York City. So I met him like a couple times. I think I have a picture with him somewhere. It's probably, I don't know where it is now, but I got a couple Hank Aaron autographs. And man, for someone who was like playing baseball at the highest level back in like the segregation era and shit like that in Atlanta, that dude was the calmest motherfucker. He was so like just gentle, approachable, nice to people. Like, you wonder how like they fucking have that like just peace.
Yeah, I was gonna say, sometimes the people who've been through the most shit have the most sense of serenity and calmness. You know what I mean? And it's weird that it works like that sometimes, but some people who've been through the worst shit are the ones who are most calm and relaxed and down to earth and whatnot. And some
Crazy, man.
people who've been through nothing are the biggest assholes on the planet, you know?
So true. I mean, you see that all the time. Like, I'm so fascinated by those stories of people who like get let out of jail that like for like these crimes that like either they didn't commit or was some like minor shit, and then like the media is interviewing them afterwards, and they're just like, man, I'm holding no grudge towards anybody. Like, and it's just like, wow, like you're fucking fascinating, you know? And it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know Larry King, but like, I don't know his story or how he rose to fame or whatever the fuck his case was, but like, probably just a good looking ass white dude who had a nice voice that like fucking, who knows if his father got him a position or some shit, but
No,
like,
I could tell you. I actually
oh,
just
okay.
learned a bunch of this today. It's interesting. It's not as straightforward as you would think. So
Hmm.
he wanted to get into radio,
Hmm.
and there were like no radio jobs anywhere, but he was told by somebody, you got to go to Florida because there are radio jobs that are opening up over there. And so he went, and apparently he worked all these odd jobs for a long time, and he would like clean and do whatever he could to get by. And then he got an opening where they were just like, for whatever reason, one of the dudes who was hosting the slot from like, you know, some 3 or 4 hour time slot, they were just like, that dude's out here, you want it? And he was like, what? And so he started doing a show where he would just talk for like 3, 4, even 5 hours sometimes.
Damn.
And yeah, and so he was on the radio. He went from nothing to like talking hours a day. And so he started on the radio. He did that for a long time. And then eventually, obviously, he was hired by CNN, and he had his very famous show on CNN. Here's another interesting fact about him. He was married 8 times.
Yeah, I think I knew the marriage shit. I knew he had like some OD marriage shit.
8 times, dog. 8
That's
times.
ridiculous.
That is like, how do you not stop? What's the number where you're like, you know what? What's the number where it's like, tap out a little bit? You know what I mean?
I mean,
I'll
someone
go,
of his stature, he probably was getting him this all signed prenup, so he was just trying to get some pussy for a couple months and then on to the next. Like 8 is a number that like.
Yeah, you're
That's
saying
some
he wasn't
systematic
even
shit,
trying on some shit like
Yeah,
like
like-
marriage, right? Yeah.
He's not trying marriage. Like his on some next level shit where it's like, I gotta give you a ring just because, you know, for
Here-
whatever reason. I'll just get some buns. I'm 90.
Here's the Kyle rule. I just made this up now. You get 3 cracks. If you don't figure it out at 3, you just got to tap out. Say, you know what? Marriage is not for me.
I think I heard somewhere it was like the first marriage is for love, the second is for money, but the 8th shit is definitely just for some pussy. Like that, there's no love in 8th marriage.
I really wish I could talk to him off the record and just have him explain to me the whole, like, what he was doing. Because that's a number that's so ridiculous that I want to be like, are you the dumbest person on the planet, or what am I missing? Like, is there something that I need to know about why this made sense to you?
I know he's also like, and this is not excusing it, but he's like one of those old school cats where like shit was different. Like there's those, you know, old school oldies songs that talk about like, you know, dating like a 16-year-old, 15-year-old girl and stuff like that. But like, I think didn't he get like caught up in like in his interviews? He like said something about young girls or like there was some shit that he said. I remember watching the clip one time or something like that, and like he was caught up with something with like a minor or something.
What?
And I could be wrong, but
I never heard this before.
I vaguely remember like Larry King and like him being associated to like some weirdness. And like, I don't know. It's just like, I love the OGs, the legends. Like there's something that's definitely sad about all these like iconic figures that are passing away, like Alex Trebek.
Well, I was gonna say all like to have 2 in one day, Hank Aaron and Larry King is a lot, and then like you said, Trebek was recently, and Trebek was all around viewed as an amazing dude.
I know, man. Like, like, it's hard saying this shit because it's like, but like, some of these like just white iconic people that we've looked up to for so long, it's almost like.
Let me be clear. I never looked up to Larry King or Alex Trebek.
No, but a lot of people do. Like they're the pillars of like media or the pillar of like TV hosting shit.
I don't know that it's that they look up to them. It's just that they always saw them every day. That's what it is. It's like I always watch, you know, Larry King.
Is that where like that's where like the emotional attachment comes in?
Yeah.
Like I've seen people that like I like don't even watch Jeopardy like that or anything. But the last day when Alex Trebek died, it was just like I'm crying today.
Well,
Like Alex Trebek.
there's some people who just stunt because they want to hop on whatever the fad is, and
That's
that's
true.
annoying as fuck. But
Yeah.
for both of those guys, especially Alex Trebek, I get the sense it's not just people doing that. There's some people who do that, but then there's other people who are like literally every day that since I was a kid, we always watched Jeopardy and we did it with the family, you know?
Yeah, there's like memories tied to it. Like I would, people say like, "Oh, I'd sit with my dad or my grandma and we watch Alex
Exactly.
Trebek," and
To
that's
those
where like
people, that matters. To those people, in the same way, like when Kobe died, how much did that affect us?
100%. Yeah.
When Kobe died, we were just like, wait, I thought he wasn't even, I thought he was like a demigod. Like he won't even die. Like
Yeah,
I'm going to die
that
before
one's
Kobe,
brutal because like he wasn't supposed to die. Like, but like Larry King, Alex Trebek.
Larry died of COVID, right?
Yeah, I saw that.
He was 87. He was really old, but he got COVID. I remember reading the article like 2 weeks ago, and then he went to the hospital and he died.
He was
So it must
also
have been
always
tough.
like frail as fuck.
He was always frail as fuck, but that's what I was gonna say. Is like it must have been tough. The last few weeks for him must have been tough. That skinny little frail man, like gasping for air.
He definitely still had someone sucking his shit, probably.
You don't want your shit sucked when you're literally hanging on for dear life to your life.
Yeah.
You're about to die and can't breathe. You're not exactly horny.
Here's my thing: if I'm his age, or if I'm like some 80s, 90s, I'm not seeing anybody. Like I'm not putting myself in a position to get fucking COVID. Like I don't know what he was doing.
I think listen, I'm guessing right now, but he's got a lot of kids, and I'm sure it was one of the kids who accidentally gave it to him. Like maybe the kid was working or whatever. But that's the thing about a virus. You never know. Like it's not like everybody's out there being reckless. There's some people who are reckless, but all it takes is like one super spreader, and it's just like it's a wrap. It's a wrap. One super spreader, and it's a wrap. This shit just spreads exponentially.
Yeah. Larry King. I mean, I was gonna say like Larry King, Alex Trebek, even Hank Aaron. Like they all had really good lives. Like except for like Hank Aaron probably when he was younger and shit like that. But like Alex Trebek, Larry King, those motherfuckers did all right. Like I can't even fathom what like a rock star's life is like. Like just even like a Bret Michaels now or some shit. Like you look at him now and it's like, oh, this dude is washed up. He can't get gigs anymore. The shit he did on like one weekend is probably way like back when he was in his prime shit.
Mm-hmm.
Will top anything I ever do in my lifetime. Like
it depends how you measure it. You know what I mean? Like if you measure it by like fame and hedonistic stuff, like sex or whatever.
I'm measuring it of like what is, I guess, is it subjective? But like what fun is, like partying, girls, alcohol.
Yeah, but what's interesting,
fun.
I don't see when I think of like I'm on my deathbed. And how do I want to look at my life? Like, how do I feel about my life? What would I have done differently? Definitely the thing that first comes to my head is not I should have partied more, or I should have had more women, or I should have been more hedonistic. That's definitely I don't think like, oh, I should have got fucked up more or whatever. No. I'm sure that the thing you're gonna want to do, have done more of, is whatever is the most meaningful and purposeful thing in your life. You know what I mean? So
but it's hard to find that, like it's hard to find that in the moment. Like what if I were to even try and think about that now? Like,
for most people, it's probably family. For most people, it's probably like, they wanted to love and cherish and be with their family more. And like, that's what I think most people would think of, and that's very
people
common.
Say that shit, but like, I don't know. I think about this all the time. It's like, I'm lucky to still have my mother and father around, but like, if they were to go, I'm like, I think about this sometimes, which is weird. It's like, have I asked my father everything about Vietnam or like all these questions? And it's
right, exactly.
If he were to pass away, I'd be like, I wouldn't have asked him that shit, like when he's living, So it's like, I'm not gonna front now like I would have asked him that shit because I have the opportunity to ask him that, and I sort of care, but like, also it's like, meh.
Yeah, no, but I mean, I think it's more like when somebody passes, you just think like, fuck, I should have told him I loved him more or whatever. It's things like that,
I guess. But I don't know. I don't know. It just that initial feeling when someone passes away sort of sucks. But then it's like it sort of fades away, and then occasionally you'll think like,
Yeah, at some
I
point,
missed that person.
Yeah, humans are very adaptable, and they do exactly that. So you're right about that. But yeah, anyway, my point was, I don't think most people, I mean, some would, but I don't think most people on their deathbed, when they're asked, like, hey, what would you do differently? You're going to die in 2 hours. What would you do differently when you look back? I think most people would say, I should have. Nobody will say, like, oh, I should have worked more. And very few people will say, oh, I should have, like, partied more or been with more women or whatever. I think it'll be whatever. See, at a moment like that, there's no hiding. You know what I mean? Like, there's no hiding. It's all the truth is going to come out. You're going to feel whatever it is that is the thing that's the answer. And so I think most people would just go to whatever is most meaningful and purposeful in their lives. And for some people, it's their family. For other people, it's a hobby. I don't know. Whatever it is, like, that's the thing that's going to come out, So.
Yeah. I will say for Larry King, I mean, and I'm going to look up after the show what that shit was, because I remember, like, he did an interview with somebody and, like, he said some weird shit or something happened. But that motherfucker interviewed everybody. Like, that's a crazy fucking feat.
I think I remember the thing you're talking about. He interviewed Bill Cosby.
That might have been it. And they were talking about, like, drugging, like,
right.
Or joking about it or something.
Well, Cosby was joking, and he brought up, like, it's like what they used to do back in the day, and then
yes, yeah,
with, like, the old Spanish fly, and then Larry was like, yeah, the Spanish fly, the drug.
That's what I remember.
Yeah, but he wasn't. I don't think he did anything necessarily incriminating. It was Cosby who was admitting, like, I drug women.
Yeah, Cosby was the one that was like, "Oh, you know about that shit?"
That's exactly right.
But he was. I mean, yeah, he was the first to really, like, just fucking. He interviewed everybody. Like,
well, also he had a minimalist approach that people really liked, where he wouldn't ask long questions. It would just be, like, very flat, straightforward, to the point questions.
Yeah,
so
I saw a quote today that was like, he didn't go in there with, like, scripted question after question, like, oh, after question number 4, I'm going to ask question number 5.
Right,
it would just be on some, like, I know whatever question 4 is, even if they give me the whole answer, I'm going to find something else in there that, like, gets them, talking about that more, which is, like, it's a talent to really pull stuff out of people, because I feel like there's always something there. People always want to talk about shit. And it's a true art and talent, and Rogan is amazing with this shit, man.
He's really good at that. He's really good at making people feel comfortable enough to just say whatever,
It's incredible, and just, like, knowing that, like, either they're gonna say more and not chiming in with some extra shit that, like, interrupts their thought of where they were gonna go with whatever they're gonna say.
Yeah, the timing
is it's hard to do that shit. And Larry King was the fucking stand. He was on CNN.
He was on CNN forever,
right?
Yeah, for so long. Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, like, he was an OG. So, I mean, rest in peace, fucking Larry
87.
King.
He lived a long life, 87. So that's
I saw on one of those tabloids when I was walking out of the Dollar General today. It was like, I guess he's got like a $50 million will that I think someone's fighting over now, trying to get his whatever.
Damn, they're fighting, huh? You would think he would have a will that lays it all out, that there wouldn't be a lawsuit.
I mean, you got 8 wives. You would think number 4 would be like, I want a piece of that shit.
Yeah, I guess he had to snub a bunch of people. So he probably gave it all to just his favorite kids, and some of the wives were like, nah, fuck that.
That's got to be a weird thing too, man, is filling out a will before you die, like figuring out where your money's going to go. Or
most people do it when they're, like, around our age or maybe just a little bit older. They start doing it at, like, 40-ish,
My mother and stepfather told me that they just purchased, like, where they were going to be buried. I was like, don't tell me that shit.
Yeah, like, I don't even want to think of that shit at all.
Like, yeah. They were mad excited about that shit. They were like, this person's buried there. This person. I was like, stop. Like,
yeah, what the fuck is
weird.
That? That is super weird. Like, it's funny because I've actually had this thought too. What would I want in that situation? And I want some shit that leaves me the chance of maybe coming back if they figure some shit out. You know what I mean?
Cremation is not a plan for me. Like, if you could figure out, like, how to revive people with some new technology.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
if you fucking cremate yourself, it's a rap.
So you gotta do the what's it called?
The frozen shit.
Freezing. The freezing shit.
Is Walt Disney really frozen? Like, is he frozen somewhere?
I don't know. I know some famous people did it. I don't know if he's one of them, and I don't know.
He was one of the people. If that's a thing, but I didn't.
It's not really a thing. Like it's a thing. Like if they discover how to do it, we can. Because the way it works is just like with food. When you freeze food, like it stays good. So like you could put a steak in the freezer and have it like 4 months later.
So he's dead, but like
he's dead, but he's thinking like if they ever come up with some shit, they could just thaw me out and bring me back.
So there's like levels to dead. There's the Walt Disney dead where like he can maybe come back if they invent some shit.
So no, there's really not levels to dead as far as we know. As far as we know, once you're dead, you're dead. But what he did is he preserved his state at death permanently, because once you freeze it, that's not going to go into decomposition. You know what I mean? So in terms of how he looks the same as the day he died, because when you freeze something, you could just prevent it from decaying.
Got it.
You see what I'm saying?
So he's dead as a motherfucker.
Dead as a motherfucker, but he's just hoping they can come up with the shit that could revive him if they discover it.
Got it. Yo, imagine they came up with that shit though.
And they're the first thing they do is go to him.
Dog, like, I mean, if you step back 30,000 feet out, all you need to do is just get his heart fucking beating again, and then he's alive.
Well, no, not really, because what happens with the brain? Like, if your brain is not functioning, then you have nothing.
We got scientists that could do crazy shit. You can't connect the brain to the fucking heart. Like that's day one elementary school shit. Like that's not curing COVID shit. That's like
it's day one elementary school shit to revive the dead.
That's like a dude put a fucking ceiling fan in my house. Like he figured out some wires and shit to get that shit to spin. You're telling me you can't figure out the wiring between the heart and a I don't think it's as hard as people really are thinking. Like I'm sort of being serious here. Like people are gonna clown me on this shit, but if you could do open heart surgeries and you could put my heart that's still like beating in someone who needs a heart transplant and get them Gucci, why can't you put a healthy ass heart and brain in a dead motherfucker and make him live again?
Because once you die, it's a wrap. It's just but they have to keep you alive. Like the real trick is you got to make it so that people don't die. Like, and we are getting to a point where we're adding more and more to the length of people's lives. You know what I mean? Through science and technology and medicine. And you're right. Like, it is amazing to be able to do like a heart transplant or a lung transplant. Like, that's crazy. But yeah, as far as we know, once somebody's dead, they're dead. You know, like you can't really bring them back, because how do you revive? Once the heart stops beating and then decomposition happens, you just like literally like disintegrate. But in terms of like, if you lose your brain, you kind of really lose everything, because up in here is all like the memories. And also they say a lot with your gut too is sort of linked in a way. But anyway, like all your memories and shit, once that's gone, who are you? You know what I mean? Like what are you? Like who are you? Once you lose your memories and your life story, and you don't have that stream of consciousness, because that's the real thing. Consciousness is what it is to be alive. And once that goes away, how do you get that back? You might be able to start, okay, you thaw out Walt Disney and then you start his heart. But if his brain doesn't fire up, then
he's not going to remember how to fucking put a theme park together, but he's going to be like on some like, I could see, maybe I can't speak. Maybe he needs to learn how to speak again. And like, he's on some baby shit where it's like, he doesn't know where the fuck he is. But if you could, it's like getting an engine firing or some shit. Like you fucking refire that shit up. I'm sort of convincing myself right now that I don't think it's that hard.
It's only like an engine when it first happens. So like, you know how when somebody's on the table and you hear the beep beep.
Yeah.
And then they got to jump. Oh no, stat. They do the thing.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's sort of like starting an engine up. But once you've already been dead, then you can't restart this shit. That's it. It's a wrap. You're done. It's over.
You've never seen American Restoration. They fucking revived some new ass car shits and like some bicycles that are from fucking like 19.
You're a lot more complicated than a car, bro.
I get that, but I'm saying, obviously I don't know the fucking intricacies of the shit where like once they put a new brain in your head, like you're not going to be your old self. It's going to take a while, but maybe the engine starts. Like you could get the shit to start and the eyes open up, but you don't know, like, you don't know how to speak. You don't know how to do shit, but
I want you to start a company to cure death. And I could see you, like, you have a team of scientists and you're trying to explain it to them. Like, you guys don't get it. The way the shit works, it's like a car. You could restart the shit and they're looking at you like.
All I'm saying is one day, I think they'll be able to revive some dead motherfuckers with like putting a new heart or brain inside them.
I mean, I would love to see it, and I would like to be the one who gets revived. I mean, I'd like to not die in the first place, but if I am going to die, then I want to be the one to be revived. So yeah, like to get back to the original question, I would prefer to be kept ready in like a nice, comfortable frozen room, or put a TV on in front of me and let me like chill and watch the TV while I'm dead, but I won't really be dead because maybe I'll come back.
That's what I'm saying. Like you freeze some meat from like 1774, if you freeze that shit right and like really seal it in 2021, you pull that bitch out and put it back in like the frying pan. It's going to take a hot minute. That's just been frozen for like 300 years, but you got meat. Like that shit's been in a sealed bag, but eventually it's going to turn into some juicy ass shit again. You got to like season it and fucking flavor it and put some butter on that bitch. But like,
you and I have broken the record for the worst bro science in history on this podcast.
Walt Disney's family is listening like, yo, our dad's coming back. Mickey Mouse is in good hands.
I don't even know if Walt Disney did it, but you're right. He probably did do it.
No, Walt Disney's like the most.
He was one of the ones that did it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It was like him. I think there was a baseball player, like either not Lou Gehrig, like Joe DiMaggio, or there was a Yankee that did that shit too, which I remember. But in Westchester, there's actually a lot of cemeteries with some famous ass people. Like I think up north, like Babe Ruth is buried in one of the shits.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
Judy Garland from
she lived near where I grew up.
Oh, Judy Garland?
Yeah, her house was near where I grew up.
Oh, for real?
Mm-hmm.
There's a street by my house where I grew up. It's called like the Dick Van Dyke Show Street. It's called like the Dick Van Dyke Show Street place.
Because they recorded it there?
I think so.
Oh, that's what's up. You know that they recorded Goodfellas there too, right?
Goodfellas was New Rochelle?
Yeah, they recorded Goodfellas by your place. On one of the back roads by your place. It's literally like a 3-minute drive from where your place is where they recorded some scenes from Goodfellas. Yeah.
I never knew that.
The scene, if you watch it, you'll see too. Like you'll be like, that neighborhood looks familiar. It's the scene where he goes and beats the guy up with the butt of the gun. Like he gets out of the car and walks over to this other guy who's in his driveway, and he just starts beating him with the gun.
I gotta rewatch that. That's interesting.
You do. It's very close to where you grew up. So
when I go to like, I mean, you know it, but like when I go to Hollywood or LA or somewhere, I love like going to those iconic like places where either movies were shot. Even in Illinois, I went to the Home Alone house.
That's pretty cool. The Home Alone house is pretty cool.
Home Alone house is
I would like to see the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air house. It still looks the same on the outside.
Oh, is it in like
Beverly Hills? I think it is. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah. But I want to see it. The outside of the house looks the same. Isn't that crazy?
That's amazing. Yeah. And then Seinfeld, they didn't use it for the set, but Tom's Restaurant, the diner, that's right. It's a block from where my aunt lives in New York City.
Oh, shit.
So you see the outside canopy and like that shit's iconic. But there's some like, I went to the Family Matters house in Chicago.
Oh, really?
They tore it down since, which is just like, you can't do that shit.
You can't do that. That's such a good show. That's a piece of history right there.
Like whoever bought that house is just dumb. Like you don't do that. But I went there before they tore it down. I went to the I didn't watch this show, but Molly and her cousins did. It's the one on Showtime with Emmy Watson or whatever.
Billions?
No, Emmy Rossum.
Shameless?
Shameless. The Shameless house.
One of the actors on Shameless follows me.
For real?
Yeah, I don't know which one, but I saw somebody followed me a while ago and I clicked on it and I was like, who's this? And it said Shameless. Actor on Shameless, and they had a shitload of followers.
Yeah, that show is super popular. Super popular. Yeah, I love doing that stuff. I love finding
yeah, that is pretty cool actually. I agree with that.
The one shit that I know we spoke about before, which is eerie, is like, would you buy and like the John Benet Ramsey house if that shit was like $200,000?
I wouldn't buy that shit, but not for nothing. I think the place that I live, there's somebody died in that shit. So like I say, I wouldn't get it, but like somebody died in the shit that I have now. So it's like,
no, for real?
Yeah, but it was normal death. It wasn't like, it wasn't like on some murder shit.
Yeah, like my house in Rochelle was my stepfather's mother, and she like passed away in the bed there.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm saying. It was some shit like that.
But if you found out that like
a murder, yeah, I do think that's a level different. You know, that's a level different. I don't even
tore down the OJ house in
they did?
Where was that in not Calabasas, somewhere in California,
somewhere in LA, right?
Yeah.
I
don't know.
All right,
it would be eerie.
Let's wrap it up for all these beautiful people. You got anything left to say to these awesome people who just learned a lot of science from us?
Shout out to Bernie Sanders, man. Again, like, I hope you think he's okay with, like, he's getting coverage and stuff like that, but like,
I don't know how he feels. I don't know how he feels. I mean, he had it in the bag and then they screwed him, but he also didn't do himself any favors down the stretch. So I have no idea how he feels, to tell you the truth. But, you know, if I had to guess, I get the sense that I don't know if he ever really thought he could win. You know what I mean? Like, especially in 2016, I don't think he thought he could win in 2016. And then when he got like 47% of the vote and won like 22 states, he was like, holy shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was like, oh my God, they like me more than Hillary. What the fuck?
I didn't get to this point of the Did you guys ask Nina Turner if she saw the Bernie meme or what her thoughts were on it?
No, we didn't ask her about the Bernie meme, I don't think. No.
I'm sure she's sent a couple to her friends or something like that.
I'm sure she has. I'm sure she's been partaking in it on social media. But everybody check that interview out. It's a good interview.
Yeah, the beginning was dope. I'm excited to get through the rest.
You'll like the rest. Crystal Kyle and friends, Nina Turner talked to us. It was good.
Yeah, and then you already announced who the next week's guest is. I'm super
Justin
hyped.
Jackson. Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be so dope.
It is. It's gonna be a good conversation for sure.
He's going ham on politics right now.
He's all in.
His off season.
He texts me all the time about politics. All the time. He loves politics. He's got that same sort of energy that I had when I started with it, you know?
Yeah, he's going to do something after his career.
Oh, for sure.
But Biden hasn't done shit really since, like, he said day one or day two he was going to get the $2,000 out to people.
He said right away, and then now he hasn't done it yet. I'm giving him, I said it on my show, I'm giving him a week, right? And so I said that by my show coming up next week, there's 2 shows. The second one, if they don't have it out, I'm going nuclear because they lied. They lied the whole time. They fucking lied. I'm being nice and giving them a week. Like, okay, I'll give you a week. I get it. Sometimes shit happens, whatever. But if you don't at least have the process started within the first week, you're just full of shit.
Yeah, the first one that I saw was when they try to skew the words into like, we'll get you $1,400 more. I was a little like, I don't even qualify for this shit, to be honest. Molly makes too much money. My shit isn't enough, but like combined, we don't get it anymore. But when they said the 1,400, I was even like, yo, what? Like, y'all motherfuckers said 2,000. Now you're trying to pull some fucking magic shit and say we only said 1,400.
It was gross, right?
It was on some like,
and they were gaslighting too, like
shit. Like
they were like, no, that's what we meant all along. Like, no. They already passed.
I was even tight at Molly because she tried to be like, it is $2,000. I was like, no. They said $2,000.
And they said, now here's what I think is the debate ender, in my opinion. After they already passed the 600, Biden went to do a rally in Georgia before the election, and he said, we'll get you $2,000 checks. That was after they already passed the 600. He said that. So I'm not a genius at math or anything, but 600 plus 2,000 is a total of 2,600.
Yep.
So yeah, it's Weasley as fuck. But I'm saying I'm giving them a week to get some shit done, and if they don't, okay, then I'm gonna go nuclear on them.
Do you think for the next 4 years it's just a love fest for Biden? Like, do they try and put
the media
pressure on him?
Nah, the media is gonna suck his dick 24/7 for sure.
OD.
100%. Media's gonna suck him off 24/7.
So like anything he does, right?
Anything
Even, like,
he does.
bad shit, they're gonna try and clear that shit up.
Yep. They're not even fucking covering it. I covered the story. There was an article in Mediaite where they spoke to the people who felt betrayed in Georgia, who were like, I voted for him because I want that $2,000 check, and they feel betrayed. Nobody else, no fucking CNN's not talking about that shit. They'll never bring it up again.
Do you think bad news or like any like negative coverage even gets out to where just like a regular ass person would like see that shit's not going right? Because if they're hearing everything's Gucci on CNN and MSNBC, like only Fox News would be saying shit's wrong.
You can only cover up so much. Like this is one of those lies that's so brazen that people would know even if the media is not covering it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that was the whole reason they won Georgia. And so if they don't get the checks out, what they did is they added $1,400 checks to a bigger package. And like the bigger package, they're trying to get 60 votes, which they're not going to get because they're trying to get Republican votes. So like they basically overly complicated the process so that when they don't get it, they could say, oh, we tried. But they're not trying really because they could pass it through reconciliation, which means they only need 51 votes, which they have, and they're not doing that right now. So
and that could have been there's that photo of all the executive orders on his desk. That could have been an extra fucking binder, right? Or no?
He couldn't have done it through executive order.
Oh no.
He had to get it through Congress. So it's different, but he still hasn't put those wheels in motion right now, which he already should have. So
crazy, man.
I'll talk about it this week. But anyway, All right, guys, we love you. We'll talk to you soon. Peace.